Dave Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Stringer. Can I say what a pleasure it is to serve under your chairship this afternoon? Just before the debate started, the Honourable Member for Sutton and Cheam did light-heartedly say, you do know this is a London debate? Because he's right, actually. My constituency is about 120 miles away from this room. So there's a question about why I'm here. But the real reason I'm here today is to talk about one perpetrator, a man who's responsible for raping and sexually assaulting hundreds of women, a man who used his money and his power to escape justice right here in our nation's capital. The man is Mohammed Fayed, the former owner of Harrods department store and various other businesses. And for years he was known as a flamboyant businessman marked by personal tragedies, the father of Dodi Fayed, who died in the car crash that killed Princess Diana. Today, though, Fayed is more rightly remembered as something else entirely, a prolific sexual predator. The scale of his crimes is staggering, and despite the excellent reporting that has blown this scandal open in the last 8 months, it remains too little too known. I must say, I am very proud to be joined by some of the survivors in the gallery today. There are more than 400 known survivors of Fayed, and with still more women coming forwards. The Met Police is currently investigating almost 150 allegations against him. And as well as numerous accounts of rape and sexual assault, he's also accused of drugging women he planned to assault and trafficking women across international borders. His crimes are now rightly seen as one of the worst ever corporate sexual abuse scandals. This was abuse on an industrial scale. Fayed died in August 2023, aged 94. He escaped justice. But he did not act alone, and his network of enablers can still be held to account. Who were the people who helped this billionaire to abuse hundreds of women? There was a security team led by John McNamara, a former Metropolitan Police detective, who tailed and threatened women Fayed had abused to enforce their silence. There were lawyers who churned out non-disclosure agreement after non-disclosure agreement after non-disclosure agreement and failed to sound the alarm. There were doctors who Fayed hired to carry out invasive medical exams, including STI testing, without informing the women what they were being tested for, and with the results delivered directly to him, not to survivors. There were senior Harrods staff who at best turned a blind eye and at worst groomed young girls for their boss. The scale of these crimes raises serious questions about the Met and the CPS. More than 20 women approached the Met with allegations against Fayed during his life. Survivors say their concerns were brushed under the carpet. The force is now investigating its own conduct under the direction of the IOPCC. And meanwhile, the CPS admitted that it was twice handed evidence against Fayed by the Met and failed to prosecute him. Survivors need answers. They've already waited far too long for justice. The earliest known allegation against Fayed dates back to 1977, almost 50 years ago, and significantly predates my existence. Their wait must end, and that's why together with the Honourable Member for North East Fife, we formed the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Survivors of Fayed and Harrods. I'm very grateful to my honourable friend, the Member for Congleton, and the Honourable Member for the Weald of Kent, who I'm glad is in her place today, who are serving as officers on that APPG. My co-chair and I came at this appalling scandal in different ways. For me, it was through my constituent, Keaton Stone, who is in the gallery today, the man whose research underpinned the documentary on Fayed's abuse that blew open the story last year. Keaton, whose wife Sophia is a survivor, has spent years meticulously gathering evidence against Fayed, and he's asked me to champion the cause in Parliament on behalf of all survivors. My co-chair is a former police officer with sexual offences training, the only woman in the Commons with this experience, and she's used her platform to advocate for women and girls, making Parliament a safer place to work and oppose corruption within the police. She was approached separately to become a parliamentary champion. We are eager to work together with other members to drive this agenda forwards. The first priority will be the Met's ongoing investigation. It's an opportunity to pursue all those who enabled Fayed, and the force must cast the net as wide as possible. Given the trafficking allegations and because some alleged offences were committed at his estate in Scotland, we'd urge Police Scotland to look again at this issue too and ask that our forces work with international partners where appropriate. After decades of delay, this needs to happen fast. Officers must swiftly bring charges. Survivors are understandably wary given that they've been let down by the Met in the past, and we'll help to keep tabs on the investigation and make sure those questions are answered. Civil claims against Harrods are also important. Hundreds of women are seeking compensation for the abuse they suffered. For survivors, though, this isn't about money. No amount of money could ever make up for the trauma they underwent at this man's hands. It's about recognition, though, that their employer could and should have kept them safe. and that it failed to do so. Those cases should be dealt with much more swiftly than they currently are. Fayed's businesses, the Met, the Crown Prosecution Service are all implicated in this scandal, and that's why ultimately we must have a full inquiry into this. Survivors deserve answers, and the public should know the whole truth, and we must learn the lessons that crimes like this can never happen again. Thank you.
Justice Arthur.
It's a pleasure to serve under your